Rich Lesser is the global chair of Boston Consulting. I'm a lot more pessimistic than you. I continue to believe that this mantra, Rich, that, you know, soft landing, and then all of a sudden you're in a recession. But you say I'm wrong.
Well, Richard, to be honest, most journalists are more pessimistic. And I think that's the world we've lived in, actually, from oftentimes over many years, actually, but particularly in the recent past. We have been on the more optimistic side for a while. There was a year ago, nobody thought a soft landing was even possible. We were either going to be in spiraling inflation or we were going to be in unemployment. And I'm speaking US here, you know, well above 5%, some were arguing. And I think we felt that consumers recognized this inflation was different than the systematic problems of the 1970s. It's hard to break an inflation regime of 40 years that we've lived in, and that the Fed would act. And maybe it acted a bit slower than we all expected a year and a half ago to get started on these rate increases. But when it acted decisively. And I think it's now signaling that it thinks it can start to plateau, hopefully where we are. Some would argue maybe we'll have one more. And I think there's a very good chance for a soft landing here. There was enormous negativity around emerging markets. They're actually navigating better than people expected. Europe just had a quarter of growth. I agree with you, China is soft. That's certainly true, but it'd be hard not to feel like we've made enormous progress from what people were predicting a year ago when there were so many negative headlines.
What are your clients telling you in terms of future order books, in terms of their own balance sheet reorganization, the availability of debt and lending, the sort of, if you will, the engine room of the economy? What are your clients saying?
I think most of them, well, let's recognize that a low inflationary environment is not necessarily an easy environment for many companies. In fact, inflation is often a salve to be able to raise prices and use that to drive profitable growth. It's often an asset, particularly when the government is putting dollars in so many pockets as it was during COVID. So I think for many of our clients, this is a trickier period to navigate as consumers' tolerance for price increases have come down. You've got to get profitability in other ways. We're still in an uncertain environment. I think that plays through into how companies view their investment expectations. So I would say most of our clients are not finding this a down period, but they are finding it a period of high uncertainty, mixed views on the economic outlook, obviously navigating a world of higher interest rates that haven't been seen for many, many years. And so I would say they would say it's not so easy right now.
When I look, though, I mean, let's assume we're just about at the terminal rate, and maybe there's one more increase to go. This idea that the rate is going to stay at this level for longer, it begs the question, do you push inflation down to 2%, or do you basically say job done? I mean, I'm talking about core inflation now, not headline inflation. Or do you push on?
Okay, first, I'm not in the Fed. I never would pretend to be. We'll see what they would do. My hope is, interesting, Lael Brainard, who's now at the National Economic Council, when she was on the Fed in 2019, so this was during the last administration, talked about needing to think about inflation not as a 2.00 target, but 2% over the long term. And I think she used a phrase called average inflation targeting to represent that there'd be periods when you may not be at exactly 2, just like we were under 2 for a long stretch in the prior decade, and a little over 2 is okay. So I don't think the Fed can or should relax the 2% target, but I think it can be more tolerant of a world where the inflation number starts with a 2, but we're on a glide path to 2.0, but we don't necessarily get there fast. And I think particularly in a world where there's a de-risking in global supply chains and where we're seeing actually wage growth at the bottom of the wage curve, which is what theoretically we want to close inequality gaps, I think there'd be a very strong logic to not go for 2.0, but for sure it's too high now and it needs to keep coming down.
In just a moment, we're going to be talking about the British Prime Minister and the new energy policy an energy policy in the UK, where they are issuing more oil and gas licenses. The climate crisis is one that is going to the heart of every one of your clients, and indeed your own company. Net zero, the mechanisms by which you do it, offsetting, carbon trading, emissions, all these various tools. How much of this is number one now for CEOs?
I think it's top three for many CEOs. I don't know that it's number one for all CEOs. In some industries, if you're in energy, parts of the industrial sector, it's hard for this not to be the top priority or tied for the top priority. I think in many other sectors, it's on the very short list. But of course, we have an AI revolution underway. We have the economic uncertainty you and I just discussed. There's all the geopolitics. So I think it is on the short list. It needs to be higher for most companies. I want to be clear. If you look at the targets in both the government world and the corporate world, they are not sufficient to get to the goals that we need. So we're not yet, we are making progress, and I'm encouraged about the ambitions that have been set forth for this COP, but I think we'll need to see a step up in individual ambitions, country and corporate, in the years ahead, given what we're watching happen all around us.
Final thought, I just want to get, I know that thankfully you're going to be going away, taking your own annual holidays with your family, and we're all at that time of the year. I just want to get your perspective. You're going to tell me that obviously vacation time is important and people being rested is important. But when you see your senior directorate staff not taking vacations or being more hard-lined in terms of the siloing down through their divisions about this, how important is it to you to get that message across to them, to get that, so it feeds down the network, if you will, that it is not a nice thing, it is not a good thing, it's dysfunctional to have a workaholic that doesn't take a holiday?
I'm so glad you phrased it the way you did. We think both for ourselves, because we're a very hardworking environment, but also for the many clients that we serve, that people need a break. And if you don't spend some time to recharge yourself, to invest time in family and friends, that actually your own personal productivity drops. And that it's not, yes, it is in your interest, but it's actually in our interest too, to want people to have balance in their lives. That's during their work weeks, but it's most certainly also to catch a break every so often, and to really when you get away, to actually get away, to be able to turn things off. I'm not good at it personally, I try, but to really get away. And our leadership team, Christoph Schweitzer, our new CEO, the leadership, they're constantly reinforcing that message, and that from personal experience, I think it's so important.
Rich, have a lovely holiday. Send us a postcard.
Thank you,
sir.
Richard. Hope you get a break too.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. As Rich